Swadika, welcome to BU Academic Talk. Today we have got a special guest and also the honorable guest who is interested in conducting the research about the collaborative learning. She applies her knowledge, body of knowledge, and also the concept of public relations to the educational dimension. And today's topic is about the we learned and then we shared. So please give a warm welcome to Dr. Peeraya Hanpongpandh, Dean of School of Communication Arts, Bangkok University, to our program.
I'm looking at public relations in the new perspective or the new paradigms, focusing on how we can use communications to negotiate relationship between the organizations and the communities. And also I'm looking at relationship in terms of not only relationship between organizations and the public. It could also be relationship between individuals, the individuals and their own cultures, individuals and societies, and also non-human beings. So first of all, I'll go back to where my research interest is all about. I kind of like wanted to see the new concepts of how public relations could be used in the context of Thai culture, which totally they're different from the Western context or Western settings. We've been using and have experience with public relations approach with Western perspective for some times, and we know that it's not 100% working out with different settings. And then I apply Thai cultures, especially the Buddhist thinkings, to public relations. How these two relate is it beginning with the concept of relationships. Like I said earlier, that relationship is not only the business relationship or between the organization and the public. They're more than that. So by applying Buddhist perspectives, I see several dimensions that relationship or public relationship can be applied into different contexts. It could be in the dimension of societies, it could be in the dimensions of cultures, technologies, politicals, and also economics. Okay? And in the sense of building relationship, I do believe that it's not a straightforward directions. It contains different layers of communications, different layers of relationship. So I believe that it's not only sending out the information alone in order to change awareness, in order to change behavior. There might have been something else, and along the way while building the relationship, it could also, talking about, apart from communication, it could be coordinating. And eventually is the word collaborations or collaborative learning that's come into play. And I see these two connected. And as I'm an educator, so I kind of like use the idea of public relations to use in the teaching methods that I use with my students as well. Okay? And the collaborative learning in this sense, I see it as the metaphor that build up or foster the teaching and learning process. It's not the teaching models, it's not the learning models apart. It has to be the intertwined. So I call it teachings and learning process. The collaborative can drive people participations, not only me as the sender, but also the student as the sender. We could be co-sender or co-creator at the same time. It's kind of like, recreate a group of people who are working together as a team. But it's not only team working, it's more than the team working, is the reflective among each other or reflective among the individuals in the process. In this case, I see myself as participants as well as I see my students as the participants. And we also see collaborative methods in terms of using different tools. Okay? Okay, it might not be only I use teaching method in terms of interpersonal. I can also use other media, for example, like computers. I can also use video, some other presentations or clip, or even social media. So it integrate or collaborative in a way, in the sense of tools. And another level is the collaborations between partners. Not only me, myself as teachers and my students, it also we see our communities that surrounding our locations or our school as a main stakeholder. Because why communities in this sense? I do believe that communities is very complex, and community is also very dynamic. And with these complex and dynamics values, students can learn a lot from that. And not only learn from me by me sending out the contents or transmits the content in one way. It could also be in a reflective way that students could challenge myself and asking questions that they wanted to know. Plus, when we're going out to learn with the communities, I think that's another experience, another exposures that I do believe that the students can also learn and bring back what they learn to discuss and we discuss along the way. We have some procedures as well, like I told you before that I get to train the students, and when the student is about 200 sums, it's very difficult to have everybody enter the communities at the same time. I got to learn from the process. First time that I use this learning methods, I have everybody enter the community, and it's a chaos. You get to have some stories coming back to you that the student get to find something but unexpected all the time. But when I think this is my fourth and my fifth year that I've been doing this, we get to have some managing system. So from 200 some students, we only select those who are capable to deal with communities. Good for us is we have some other project. Before this class, we have some other project. Ajarn Dr. Malika, she organized a project with SCG. I think that's coming after your connections. And she and some other colleagues took the student in a trip. Okay, and join the community's learning process at Lampang, in Lampang, for about 3 to 4 days. And these students, amazing. When they came back, they bring back with a very good memory. And when I asked them that if we're gonna organize these same activities in Chiang Mai, because we just have connections with Spring News, and they said they have project in Chiang Mai. The students said, Ajarn, I wanted to go. Not only the students that already attend the activities in Lampang, their friends. I think this is a collaborative learning in a way, not from ourselves as teachers, but from their friends. So the connections beginning to expand. Okay, so I don't know if this is called successful or not, but I'm just happy.
Yeah,
that right. And yes. I think Dr. Marika also said it. Ajarn, Pipe, this is a very good project, and I think applying public relation in this project, in a sense that if we already have like 50 students attend the first activities, we have to maintain these same group of the students and move them forward to the second activities. So this is stewardship. Then the student will not just come and go. So they're beginning to reflect themselves that this is a good things for them. They learn by themselves.
So do you ask them to write a report themselves?
Yes, that's Dr. Malika assigned the group, and she also did focus group. After came back from the trip, each student that she divided into group and have a group discussions and sharing idea. And this is learn and share. The students share the idea, and one of the students, Ajarn Malika, said she was so impressed because she looks so, how do you call it?
They say hi, so.
Yeah. Then after 3 or 4 days there, she was the only one who cried, and I don't know, probably not the only, but the first one who cried out in the event when they almost depart the communities, and she's kind of like telling Ajarn Marika that she was so happy be able to participate, be able to learn from someone else that she haven't had any relationship before, but 3 or 4 days there, it's very good experience, good value. The values of collaborative learning is building up the learning communities. So I wanted to see the outcome with my teaching technique as I can build the learning communities within or among the students and also some other stakeholders. Go back to how that I conduct my teachings and learning process. For example, I teach public relations 303, that's about stakeholder analysis management. I also collaborate with collaborative with another Ajarn, another teachers. She's teaching relationship management, which in a sense is the same process of public relations. So we first of all discuss among ourselves that is it possible to run a project together rather than I run my own projects and she's running her own projects, because the student is about the same group. So in this sense, when we're talking about what to make as an outline, and when we agree on the outline settings already, then we enter the class first week, and then I open up to talk to my students and making some rules, because this is another communities and this is another learning communities. So I asked them to help me set a rules or some other regulation that they are confined with it. They're okay with it. So we're beginning to drive the sessions by discuss what rules and regulations that we will eventually commit upon. And after that, we share the outline that I and my colleagues have built. And along the way, that outline is not strict. It's not static. It could be changed in order to meet the students' needs and wants, which means in this sense the student can participate in their own teaching methods along the way. And then that's the beginning in the first week. And then second week I asked them to form their own group. Okay, and the group I also informed them that apart from working in the group, within the sections, they also have to work with another group in the sections. Not only that, across the sections, they should be able to, manage, they should be able to work together as a team or living together with other people in the other sections. I know that demands a lot of efforts and that demands a lot of time. But I've been doing this for like more than 3 years and I see some results. Okay.
So how were the results so far after you enter in the first class and then you allow the students to set the rules and regulations by themselves? How were the results? How the feedback of the students?
Talking about setting the rules together, there's a big number, and the students is around like 80s altogether. 80s within sections. Okay, when we were talking about cross sections that sum up to 100 something, so it's very difficult, to have everybody's apply the rule and follow the rules. But I think it for me, I see some good signs that when the student feel that they are the one who set the rule in the first place, they feel that they're empowered themselves, and this is belong to their regulations. When somebody has set their own rules, they have to follow. They have to commit. But I'm still struggling for those who are not. It is not 100% for sure.
Okay, and what are the obstacles or the challenges of using the collaborative learning, asking students to share and to participate, setting the rules and regulations?
You get to be challenged all the time. You get to be so patient all the time. But I think that's a matter of collaborative learning. I told you that within the first 2 sections, we setting the rules and regulations, we forming a group. After that, there's more procedures that I throw to the students as well. The class is about like project-based learning. So we go I wanted, like I said, I wanted students to go and study another setting which is not in the classroom. So community is our choice, okay? And the best communities are the community that surround us, the nearest community that we could access. So when they get into, before they get into to work with the communities, they also have to prepare themselves. Okay, we have some training process from some expert outside who are so very good at in terms of communities building and community relationship building and things like that. So the students get to learn from the outside expert. Okay, and then after they learn, they share. Okay, then before we really have to implement the real projects from the communities, we talk, we discuss, we kind of like make some predictions what would be happened after or if when they get into the communities by themselves. But that I feel like that the how do you call it, the directions that is the student will prepare before they enter to the place that they have no experience before.
So I was just wondering, just curious about the culture, the educational culture in Thailand, especially the students are shy in class, giving answers and sharing experience and ideas. So they haven't thought about things.
That's part of the challenge, the quiet challenge, the quiet moment challenge. When we're talking about collaborative learning, there's so many varieties of ways or teaching methods that we can use at the same time. So it's integrative in a way. So when you challenge Thai students who are not really talkative or not there to speak up, yes, it's very difficult in the first place. But then as a teacher, you get to be someone who are very good at spotting you will first be the volunteers. Then when first volunteers come up, and what we need is we have to communicate people around that particular person, setting some game and setting some situations.
Let's say it's like ice breaking.
Yes. But I really wanted to have ice breaking that much. Then everybody will just be part of it. But I'm not that good at ice breaking games. I have to learn sometime as well. But then again, by trying to how do you call it, persuade each of the volunteers and have that volunteer, the first volunteer, to also communicate among their own group, it helps in a way. Okay, but it would take some time. I think creating the environment of friendly environment, what I'm saying, right? Students will feel like that we are their friends rather than that I'm their teachers. I think that would help.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you how the teacher should do, in order to produce the more effective collaborative learning. And I got one more question about the collaborative learning as well. So, what are, apart from like the strategies and also the techniques that you have used, what about the size of the classroom? So do you think, is there anything?
Well, theoretically, I would like to have like 20 to 40s. That might be the effective numbers, but we cannot. That's one of the limitations. But if you see it's a challenge, it's a challenge. I mean, even though good numbers is 20 to 40s, but we have to handle that 80s. And when we collaborate with another teachers, another subjects, another sections, that add up. The 80s into 160s and the 240s. But I still, I really wanted to see, what I wanted to say is, just discard the number and just go for just go for it. I mean, trying to open up for the space to the student as much as we can. Okay, but along the way, I think in collaborative learning process, interpersonal communications, students get to learn to adjust themselves, and eventually they acknowledge themselves as a part of a community, rather than I'm a sophomore and you're third years and you're fourth year. Okay. toward the end, almost the end of the semester, you get to see them as a students rather than just year difference.
Okay. What about the communities? What are the outcomes or what are they learned so far from the students?
Go back and talking about communities that surround us. 5 years that we've been trying to use the same methods and organize some events with the communities. I learned from each year. The communities said every time when we finish or we're done with our short-term activities, there'll be like senior citizens came to me and said, Ajarn, don't leave us now. Come back and then do these kind of activities again. It's such a good feeling. Even the students also, Ajarn, when we're going to go back and learn. Okay, even though not everybody was saying that, but I think just only 5 or 10% saying that, I think that's the most successful ever.
So let's get back to the collaborative learning again. So do the students apply or use the experience that they learned in your class or your colleagues' class in other classes as well? Do they apply with any other use?
In fact, I can't speak from other class, but I do see because I learned from some colleague that, like as in Dr. Malika, the students that I taught, they took the course with me when they were sophomore and when they were third year students. And when they entered the 4th year student, they studied with Dr. Malika and she gave me some feedback. And she also complimented, and it's the same group of students who had the experience along the way. So with these results, I think at least I see some change. And every time when I need, because I deal with the community project many times, and sometimes when we get to ask for help and assistance from the community's members, I will need help from this group of students who have experience before. Very, when I call them, they would just come right there. I said, Ajarn. So it just showed me that whatever they learned from their previous years is shown in their instincts, their spiritual, contributions and things like that. But we haven't had set up the indicators just to measure them directly, or we don't have a formal procedures because I don't believe in formal procedures. I do believe in learning from realities, learning from the real setting, learning from the real experience, learning by themselves, learning by the instincts of the students. I think that's good enough for me in a sense.
Okay. So what about the effectiveness of the students and also the quality of the students? Can you say about that?
Yes, I think I see more critical thinking in the students. When we've been joking all the time, which I don't know whether it's right or not, that Thai people we don't have like critical thinking, we don't have critical perspective. But when the students experience through this process, the student becoming a person who get to ask questions before they're doing something, because they learn from the communities. Okay, the student. Apart from being critical, they're also being cultural.
So what do you mean by that?
By being cultural, mean they are not, when they encounter some particular problem or circumstances, normally these students will just making decision right away.
Alright.
Okay, but becoming a students who are being very cultural persons.
They get back and then
Yes, they hold a thought. Okay, they ask questions. They open up for some other people to speak, and they learn. Okay, and I think they're being more patient enough to something that they might not like in the first place. But along that way, I think it's a reflective process. Okay, that thing that's very obvious when I see the changing in the students. They become more critical. They become more cultural. Very sentimental, understandable, become more understandable person. But it might not be that 100% perfect. But small change is good enough. I think it's along the way they open themselves up.
So even though you use the collaborative learning, do you also use the tablets or the mobile tools as like the channels of communication in the classroom?
Yeah, for sure, technology is becoming an heir. I mean, the only time when you notice it's when it's not there. It's already around us. We cannot ignore, we cannot deny technologies, we cannot deny this is a digital, societies. But the thing is, I don't think digital is everything, because there's still another part of the world, which we call non-digital world. Okay, but realities today is how I am myself as a teacher, and the students themselves are able to understand when to use digital technologies appropriately, effectively. Okay, today's like I said, there's no line between digital worlds and non-digital world, even though it's there. So good things is, the truth is, we use technologies to bridge the realities. I mean, nowadays you see in the case of flood, last year, flooding crisis, right? We happen to see the realities of communities that get affected from the flooding situations. They need help. There's another communities that offer free help through social network, through technologies. And this group of communities who are capable of using technology expand so fast through the digital, world, digital technologies, and they bridge the story in the realities to their virtual set. But I think this is important, that if you know that now I'm using the technologies, but it's just a tool to help me achieve a mutual goal, building a better world, or better societies. I think that's a matter of collaborative learning. It's a matter of public relations. They still need social dimensions. You see social networks happen, a group of communities online, using Facebook, using Twitter. We cannot ask the student not to use those techniques or those channels. So how to make students who are already exposed to those techniques feel that they can use whatever they have, whatever they're familiar with, whatever they feel happy with the other parts of the world, or with the other part of the communities. I ask them to use social network as a tool, to communicate among themselves, okay? And at the same time, use these social media to help those local communities to bring back the values of the stories, for example, like local wisdoms, traditionals and cultures, that become so much important to themselves, and make it value to another group of people who are not able to experience, just like those who are there. So my point here is that I teach them how to know what is appropriate as digital technology as a tool, and use that to bridge to the realities and bring whatever there, okay, to add up the values and make it more access to people in other parts of the world. And I'm not trying to use new media and to force the student, to force the community to use this new media technologies. No, along the way they get to know that there is another type of media that they probably haven't exposed to and use them or communicate through that much. But at least we share something new to them. And what's interesting is that there are a particular group of the senior citizens who see the importance of the value of social media, social techniques, or social networking, and bring it back and use it to telling the stories of their own.
Okay, so come to the last question. So what are you planning to do next in terms of the teaching strategies and also conducting research?
Like I said, we've been doing community projects for almost 5 years. we see problems, we see drawbacks all the time. And these years, I and my colleagues, we discuss among ourselves that we should have a plan, okay, that aim toward building strong communities. Because towards the last 4 or 5 years, we more or less we are just running activities, and most of them are short term. Even though we trying to continue from semester to semester, but it's still no consistency, lack of consistencies, and our goal is not yet, solid. I mean, it's not so clear. This semester, we said that we need to help the communities, be able to learn from themselves, standing on their own. Okay, in this sense, we will be able to help them building up a very strong communities. There's some indicators that we put in the first place, and put these indicators in our events and activities, and also inform the students. I tell the student this is very important, that the important target that we need to meet. Okay, and we come up with a big project called Creative Learning Space. And in another way, it's a creative community space. Okay, before we've been working within our school, School of Communication Arts. These year projects, we reach out for other schools and departments. Okay, we've been talking with engineering, School of Engineering, School of Fine Arts, School of Humanities, okay, and also School of Architecture, the new school in something. We discussed that we want to at least bring our DNA or our identities, right? Creative universities. With our creative competencies, how can we use this expertise and competencies to work collaboratively with the communities?
Alright, so well, thank you very much. We got lots of valuable information. Thank you very much indeed again, and
ขอบคุณค่ะ You're welcome.
So we'll see you next time. Bye.